Okay, let's dive in. There's one event in modern American history that just keeps spawning theories, maybe more than any other. The assassination of JFK in 1963. It's this enduring mystery. And right now, we're facing this huge question. Is President Trump actually going to release those thousands of secret government files about it? Yeah, it's a massive question. And for our deep dive today, we're actually looking at an audio clip from right-wing news. They have let's say, a very specific take on this decision.
Right. So our goal here is to kind of give you the shortcut, the rundown on the key facts, the legal stuff behind it, and what might happen if these files actually come out. Why are they so important? Why hidden for so long? And, what might we actually learn? So the source material calls this a momentous decision for President Trump. It really does sound like it could change things. What's the actual legal situation here?
It is huge. Basically, there's a law from 1992, the JFK Assassination Records Collection Act. And under that act, the National Archives, they must release all these documents in full by October 26th.
October 26th. Why that date? That date's the 25th anniversary of the law itself. But here's the catch. While the archives has to release them, the president, and only the president, can decide to block the release.
Ah, okay, so it rests entirely with him.
Exactly. And the source we're looking at calls him a wild card, unpredictable. So who knows what he'll do?
And they seem to think a decision is coming really soon, like just weeks away.
Yeah, that's the time frame they're suggesting. It feels very immediate.
Okay, so if these files do come out, how much are we actually talking about? Is it a few pages or?
Oh, it's a lot. The estimate is around 3,600 files that are still completely sealed, never seen before. Plus, there are another 35,000 documents that were released before, but with parts blacked out. The archives is reviewing those too, aiming to release them in full.
35,000. Wow.
Yeah. The archives is saying they're set to get everything out by the deadline, October 26th, unless, the president steps in.
And where are these files actually from? Who is holding on to them?
Well, it's widely known, or at least believed, that a lot of them come from the CIA and the FBI.
Right, the big intelligence agencies.
Exactly. And the source host specifically calls them the deep state and our intelligence agencies.
The deep state. That's loaded terminology. How does the source connect that idea to these JFK files?
Well, for them, it implies these agencies, these sort of entrenched parts of the government, have a reason to keep things hidden.
Yeah.
They suggest these agencies are involved somehow and that releasing the files might expose something. That's the implication.
Interesting framing. Okay, so thinking about what might be in these files, what are the big expectations? What kind of potential bombshells are people talking about?
Well, the source is pretty blunt. They say it's virtually certain some of this stuff will be used to back up various conspiracy theories.
Okay, like what specifically?
Several things. One is info from CIA and FBI files on people they were monitoring back then. Another big one is this mysterious trip Lee Harvey Oswald apparently took to Mexico City shortly before the assassination.
Mexico City. Why is that significant?
The source really emphasizes this, saying it has quite a bit of significance because Mexico City, well, it was a place where everybody was spying on everybody back in the day.
Okay, so a potential web of spies and intrigue there.
Potentially. Also, the files might finally name some American and foreign spies or even law enforcement sources who were given anonymity before when discussing Oswald.
That could definitely cause ripples.
And maybe the most startling idea the source mentions is that there might be information suggesting they even knew there was danger, that Oswald was somehow going to be involved, but maybe nobody knew exactly how. Hints of intelligence failures, perhaps.
Wow. That's heavy. Anything else specific?
Yeah, they also mention an 86-page file on a specific CIA-backed anti-Castro group, exiles from Cuba. That could shed light on, that whole angle.
That's a lot to potentially uncover. What about the National Archives themselves? What's their official take on all this? Are they playing detective?
No, not at all, according to them. An official stated quite clearly they're not reading these materials, looking for hints or clues or trying to prove any hypothesis.
So just preservation and release.
Pretty much. They see the collection more as a really interesting snapshot of the Cold War. Just historical documents, not clues to a puzzle they need to solve.
Okay, so the archives is playing it straight, but our source definitely isn't. They keep circling back to conspiracy, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. The host flat out says that conspiracy stuff tends to be way more real than conspiracy or conspiracy nonsense. That's their stance. And they point to the WikiLeaks Vault 7 release as, like, proof, Every conspiracy theorist's vindication, they call it.
Vault 7. Right, that was a big deal a few years back. Remind us what that involved.
So Vault 7 was this massive leak in 2017. The source calls it the largest leak of classified information in U.S. history.
Hmm.
Uh, we're talking 8,600 documents, apparently from the CIA's Cyber Intelligence Center.
And what did they supposedly reveal?
According to the source, it confirmed the worst boogeyman stories. Things like secret programs, putting microphones in everyday objects, hacking modern cars. They even speculate, the source does, that maybe they've been known to off one or two people by hacking into that system. Really wild stuff.
That sounds extreme. Did the government comment on that leak?
The source claims the government admitted 99.9% of what you're going to see here is true. Now, that specific claim needs context, but the source uses Vault 7 to argue that secret, scary government tech and operations are real.
I see. So for them, Vault 7 proves the principle they keep emphasizing. He who controls the information controls.
Exactly. And their argument is the government has controlled the JFK assassination information for, what, 53 years now?
Okay, so it fits into this bigger picture they're painting. Does the source talk about other hidden government stuff beyond JFK?
Yeah, they branch out a bit. While acknowledging historians are eager for the JFK files, the source host speculates Trump might release them as a cheap shot against the intelligence agencies.
A political move.
That's the suggestion. They also bring up other things they call sick truths the media supposedly ignores, like claims about the U.S. government experimenting on U.S. citizens unknowingly since the 1940s. And they mention crazy stuff from DARPA and the Department of Defense.
DARPA, right, the Advanced Research Agency.
Yeah. So they lump all this together as evidence of ongoing government secrecy and maybe questionable activities.
So with all that context from the source, how do they think Trump will actually play this? Release or block?
Their prediction: he'll probably drag it out, let it go down to the wire. They chalk it up to his propensity for theatrics.
Makes sense, given their view of him.
And they predict if the files are released, it'll cause holy hell between the deep state and the different agencies. Because in their view, they're involved somehow.
Okay, so we've taken quite a deep dive here into this whole JFK files situation, looking at it through the lens of that right-wing news clip.
Yeah, we've covered the legal deadline, the sheer number of documents, and some of the really explosive things people think might be in there, especially concerning Oswald and the CIA and FBI.
And whatever actually happens, whether they're released or not, and whatever they contain, it does make you think, doesn't it?
It really does. Like, what does it actually mean for public trust when information about such a major historical event stays hidden for, well, decades?
Yeah, and what's our role as citizens trying to stay informed? How do we navigate this, especially when some sources are telling us not to trust the mainstream, but maybe have their own strong agenda?
It's a tough balance. Maybe the key takeaway today is just to think critically about where information comes from, why it might be revealed, or why it might stay hidden.
Definitely food for thought. Consider what we've discussed, and maybe it sparks your own interest to look deeper into how history gets written and sometimes rewritten.